able guidance of our principal, Dr. Arora. Now, I would request Puneet Puri sir to please throw some light on the speaker of the day.
Thank you, Dr. Deepak. A very refreshing good morning to all. Respected Principal of the College, Dr. S.K. Arora ji. Our today's speaker, Dr. Sajid Hussain Pare. My fellow colleagues from DAV College and other colleges, and all the participants who have joined to gain knowledge. I welcome each and everyone through this platform to DAV College Jalandhar as well as to PG Department of Zoology. DAV College Jalandhar is a 104 years old college and a premier institute of Northern India. Our college is re-accredited by NAC with grade A. College is recognized as college with potential for excellence by UGC New Delhi. We are having DBT Star College scheme and our department is DSTFIS sponsored. Today, we have arranged a webinar cum workshop as well as a virtual tour also of Apiri. And with that note, I welcome Dr. Sajid Hussain Pare and also take this opportunity to invite him to DAV College Jalandhar when the conditions become normal with respect to the COVID-19. It's time to formally welcome our speaker, but before I welcome the speaker, I would like to thank Principal Sir for granting permissions to conduct this webinar cum workshop, as well as I'm thankful to DBT New Delhi for sponsoring this seminar. I would like to now formally welcome Dr. Sajid Hussain Pare, who is currently working as Assistant Professor in Department of Zoology, School of Biosciences and Biotechnology, Baba Ghulam Shah Badshah University, Rajouri, Jammu and Kashmir. Dr. Pare worked as young scientist at Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agriculture Sciences and Technology, Srinagar, under Fast Track Scheme of Science and Engineering Research Board. He has also worked as Senior Research Fellow in the Niche Area Excellence Scheme of ICAR at Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agriculture Science and Technology. Dr. Pare completed his PhD program at Department of Zoology, Punjabi University, Patiala, Punjab, on the topic entitled Taxonomic Studies on Plantentoria group of caddisflies from Indian Himalaya, under the supervision of Professor M.S. Saini. Dr. M.S. Saini happens to be my teacher also. So wonderful teacher here, remembering Dr. M.S. Saini. More than 20 MSc students and 1 MPhil students have completed their dissertations under his supervision. Dr. Sajid Hussain Pare has published more than 50 research articles in national and international reputed journals. He has described around 60 new species of caddisflies from Indian Himalaya and many new records which were earlier reported from Nepal, Bhutan, China, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. He has participated and presented his research work in more than 25 national and international conferences, seminars, and workshops. He has a foreign exposure of different countries like United States of America, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Thailand. He has also visited and studied caddisflies of Smithsonian Institute, Washington, D.C., and Rutgers University, New Jersey, USA. In addition, he has also surveyed and collected the caddisflies of Western USA and Thailand along with colleagues of these countries. Dr. Pare has received extramural grants of more than 1 crore from different funding agencies like Science and Engineering Research Board, SERB DST, National Mission on Himalayan Studies, Almora, and University Grant Commission, New Delhi. I welcome you, sir, through this platform, and you can please start with the presentation, sir. Over to Dr. Sajid Hussain Pare. Thank you very much. Dr. Sajid, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Okay.
I think there is some connection problem.
वाईफाई चलता है नहीं मैम चला देना सीखा
I request all the participants to kindly keep their speaker that is on mute, please. I think the connection is lost. We'll just wait for 1 minute.
Am I audible, sir?
You're audible, Dr. Sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Yeah, there was some connection problem, so now I have connected my internet. Thank you very much, Professor Puneet Puri, for giving me an opportunity to speak with the students of DAV College, Jalandhar. Uh, Dr. S.K. Arora, Principal, DAV College, Jalandhar. Dr. Deepak, the organizing secretary of the seminar, and their audience, thank you very much.
Again, there's some connection loss. Just
Yeah.
wait.
Sir, am I audible? Am I audible,
Yes,
sir?
yes, Dr. Sir.
Okay, thank you very much. There is a problem in my Zoom application. Is my presentation visible to all?
So it's not visible. No, sir, it's not visible. Your screen is visible. Yes, it's visible now.
Sir?
It's visible.
Okay, thank you. I'll be speaking today on bees and beekeeping, and eco-friendly and sustainable livelihood. I have divided my presentation into three parts. One is the bees, second is about the beekeeping, and third, we will take a virtual visit to our apiary within the university campus. Since when we talk about bees, we generally get an image of honeybees, that there are only honeybees present in the region. But the truth is that there are a large number of thousands of other bee species that play an important role in the ecosystem. Since the biodiversity is actually the number of different plant and animal species in an area. The bees are responsible for maintaining the biodiversity of different plant species, which in turn sustain the animal species within them. The bees, they help in transfer of pollen grains from one flower to another flower. With this, the fertilization of flowers takes place, the seeds are produced, and the seeds are being transferred. They are being, the generation is being transferred from from one part to another part. Bees, they belong to the insect order Hymenoptera. The Hymenoptera, they include bees, they include wasps, they include ants. And there are about 130,000 species of hymenopterans so far recorded on the earth. The Hymenoptera is one of the fourth largest insect order after Coleoptera, that include beetles, Lepidoptera, that include moths and butterflies, and Diptera, that include flies. When we come towards the bees, you will see that about 20,000 species of bees have been so far recorded on the earth, that are commonly known as the, for example, carpenter bees, they are known as the leafcutter bees, they are known as the mason bees, or honeybees, bumblebees, and stigless bees. These are also known as the non-native bees. When we leave honeybees, when we talk about the other bees, they are known as the indigenous bees, or they are also known as the non-apis bees. There are about 7 families of honeybees so far recorded on the earth. For example, the first one is the family Melitidae. This bee belongs to the family Melitidae and is the smallest bee family with only 201 species recorded so far on the earth. They are solitary, that means they don't have any social life. They build their nest in the ground, and they have co-evolution with certain plant species. That means the plant species are totally dependent on these melitid bees. C, the melitid bee, Melita equerti. This Melita equerti is one of the most important bee species that carry out pollination of different plant species. See the hairs from head towards the abdomen, the legs. The hairs are occupied by a huge number of pollen grains. That means they are very potential pollinators as far as their body structures are concerned. Now, second family is the Apidae family. This is the largest bee family so far recorded, with 6,000 different species enlisted up to this date. They are solitary and some are eusocial. For example, honeybees, they are social organisms, social insects. The bumblebees, they are also social insects. But this bee, Exirata frontalis, it's a solitary insect. That means they live in isolated conditions. They are not social. The Apidae family, they are one of the known species. For example, honeybees that have been extensively studied by the scientists over the globe for their role in honey production or for their role in the pollination. Third family is the Megachilidae family. The Megachilidae is the third largest bee family with over 4,000 described species over the globe. They use variety of materials to construct their nest. For example, they use petals, they use leaves, they use plant resins, they use plastics. So generally we say these megachilids, they are the wood dwelling bees. They remain within the woods, they nest within the woods, or they nest within the plants, stones, and termite nests. The bee in front of you is the Lithogeus tibalis. Lithogeus tibalis, see the body parts, see the hair structure of the bee. The hairs, they grasp a large number of pollen grains, and they play an important role in the pollination of different, we can say, plant species. This is one of the largest megachilid bees so far recorded on the earth, which is known as the megachile plato. This bee was first of all discovered by Smith in 1859. Then this megachile plato is also known as the Wales giant bee, one of the largest bee species recorded on the earth. Scientists, they only cited it twice till date. The recent it was cited in the year 2019. And the scientists, they went into the North Molucca Islands, Indonesia. They took the photographs of this Wallace bee and made the video of its bee because it was sighted after a century, and they released it back into the nature. This is one of the largest bee species recorded on the earth, which is known as the megachile plato or Wallace giant bee. Another family is the Andrenidae family. They are known as the nest, again, they are nest dwelling bees, soil dwelling bees. They remain within the soil. They are again solitary, they don't have social life, and they emerge in a particular season of the year. For example, this time it's their emergence in the spring season. They emerge in large numbers. Then again, they go into the dormancy and will come out into the next season. So their emergence period is for a short period. Another bee family is the Halictidae. These are the halictid bees. They are known as the sweat bees because in summers they are being attracted towards sweat as they feed on the salt. So far, about 4,500 species of these halictid bees have been recorded on Earth. You can see the body structure. They are very much beautiful in color. They have huge hairs starting from the head towards the tip of the abdomen and on the leg parts. They dwell within the soil. They remain within the soil. They are the soil-dwelling bees. Another family, which is one of the smallest bee family recorded on Earth, it's known as the Stenotrittidae family. Only 21 species have been recorded under this family. That too in the Australia region, not in Indian subcontinent or any other part of the world. They are represented only in the Australia and are represented by 21 species. They are solitary bees and they prefer an open and sandy habitat. Their ground nest can reach up to 10 feet. This is very deep. Their nest is very deep compared to the other bee families. See, this is the Tenosilates smaragdens, is one of the Stenotrittidae bee recorded on Earth. Another family is the Colitidae family. About 2,600 species of Colitidae bee have been recorded on the Earth. They are solitary, and their characteristic feature is that their tongue is forked, it's bifurcated. And this type of structure is not found in any other type of the bee, rather in case of the modern bee. So they have forked tongue. Now, because this time it is spring going on, you will see that a huge number of bees come out in our lawns or in our orchards or in our agriculture fields this time. If you go outside, you will see a number of bumblebees, though not in Punjab region, they are found in the Himalayan region, but this time their abundance is very rich. But in Punjab region, you can find mason bees, you can find mining bees, you can find these wood-dwelling bees as well. See, this time, if you observe, it is their season. It's the season of bees. Spring is the season for bees. They are foraging in large numbers this time inside the field. The wild bees, or these non-native bees, or non-apis bees rather, they need a continuous succession of floral resources throughout their entire vegetation period in order to ensure their survival. That means they come out in a particular month of the year whenever the host plant is emerging. When the host plant is emerging, they too emerge. For example, if you see the bumblebees, Bumblebees, they are very active from March to October. That means they are active for about 10 months. Qualitas funicalis, it's visible from March to April. Gelostoma florisum, it's visible from April to June. Gelostoma repentili is visible from June to July. Anthidium strigatum is visible from June to August. Melita tricincta is visible from August to September, and Collete's hederi is visible from September to October. So you will see that they are not found throughout the year except few families, but they are visible in a particular season of the year for a particular period. See, if you see these wild bees, they are very effective. They are very potential insect pollinators. For 1 hectare of apple or almond, we need only a few hundred of mason bees. For example, Osmia cornuta. We need only 100. But if you pollinate the same apple with honeybees, you will need about 10,000 of individuals of honeybees for successful pollination. So we can see these wild pollinators, they are very effective pollinators, potential pollinators compared to the honeybees. Similarly, wild bees have been proved to be superior to honeybees in pollinating cherry trees and rapeseed plants in pollination trials. By the pollination trials, by different researchers, they have observed these wild bees, they are effective as compared to the honeybees in pollination criteria. Recently, the researchers, they have mapped the entire regions of the world that contain the highest richness of, we can say, bees. For example, the North America and the South America, the American region, North American and South American region, they are having the rich diversity of bees. Now, if you come towards our region, India, you will see that the Himalayan belt, here the Himalayan belt and the Western Ghats, they are having rich diversity of bees. The ring in front of you, there are two parts of the ring. One is the outer ring, and second is the inner ring. This exterior ring, it gives us information of the bees in the form of, we can say, the checklist, because the researchers, they publish checklists from different places or different countries. From this checklist, it is evident that in North America, in Africa, in Latin America, a huge work has been done. A huge database of bees wild bees is found. But if you see the what's known as the Asian part here, much less work is present. Only 9% work has been done so far. If you see the interior of the ring, this is the interior of the ring. The interior of the ring, it gives us information about the bees that are present in the public database. The public database, for example, Global Diverse Information Facility, GIBF, IDIC-Bio, BISON, which is known as the Biodiverse Information Serving Our Nation, or SCAN, or ALA. These are the public databases that contain information about different bees. From the public database, it's evident that a huge information of bees is present from North America and Latin America, while as the least information is present from our region, from the Asian region. So there's a huge scope for working on this part of the bees, as far as the public database is concerned. Now, these wild bees, they are being adversely affected by different anthropogenic and by different natural factors. The anthropogenic factors, they include decline in diversity of flowering plants, decline in flower abundance, loss of sun-exposed small-scale habitat features, and fragmentation of the habitat. These four parts are very highly responsible for for decline of the wild bees. If you see the herbicides or you will see the small insecticides, they are highly, one is very highly, second is highly, they are highly responsible for the decline of the wild bees. When you compare the global warming or genetically modified plants or neophytes or neozoans, you will see that they have moderate effect on the, we can say, the decline of the wild bees. Natural factors have moderate effects such as parasites, predators, fungal infections, and periods of inclement weather. They have a little moderate effect on the decline of the wild bee species. Now, what we do here in the field conditions to enhance the bee population. As I told you that there are two types of bees. One that nest within the wooden blocks, and second that nest within the soil mounds or within the soil. What we do, we place these wooden blocks or we place stem bundles, the reeds, in the apple orchards or in the lawns. These wooden blocks or these reeds, they are after 10 or 15 days, a large number of bees come and they nest within these blocks or within these reeds. We found 70% success rate in case of wooden blocks and about 60% success rate in case of these stem reeds. The bee that was highly abundant was megachyle species. Similarly, in case of the soil bees, we placed soil mounds. These are the soil mounds, mitti ke ढेर here. And we scrap the slopes, जो slopes से हम साफ करते हैं, scrap करते हैं, ताकि जो vegetation है, वो clear हो जाए वहाँ से. So after some time, we found a huge number of bees, soil bees, for example, Andrina bees or Legioglosum bees. They come and they make nest within these soil mounds or soil slopes. We have found 90% success rate in case of the Legioglossus species that nest within these soil mounds. See, this is the how we place the wooden blocks in the orchards, then regular inspection, then if you have to identify the species, which bee species has a nest within the wooden block, then we extract the sample, we take out the larvae, eggs, and adults. Then finally we incubate it in the lab conditions. Then adult is emerged out. You can identify the adult. Here the adult is the megachyle species. These are the soil mounds that we have placed into the apple orchards or into the lawns. We have found a number of these bees. They come and they make nest within these soil mounds. Now, this was about the bees, about different bee families, bee species, their habitat managements. Now, coming towards the second part of the presentation, that's known as the beekeeping. As all of you know that the honeybees, they are being used, they are being managed for getting honey. But they are being nowadays also used for getting royal jelly, for getting pollen, propolis, bee wax, bee venom, and in fact, they are being used pollination purposes. Important part the honeybees play, that's the pollination. How many different species of honeybees are there? Researchers have found 10 species of honeybees over the globe. For example, Apis florea is one of the species, Apis andreniformis, Apis labrosia, Apis dorsata binghami, Apis dorsata, Apis serrana, Apis nigrocincta, Apis muliensis, Apis koshnikovi, and Apis mellifera. These are the 10 species of honeybees so far recorded on the earth. And from the phylogenetic tree, it's evident that the Apis florea and Apis mellifera, they are closely related with one another. They have close relation with one another. Similarly is the case with Apis dorsata and Apis serrana here. You know that honeybees, they have diverse habitats. From this map, this is the distribution map of Asian honeybees, Apis serrana here. And here, second one is the distribution map of the Apis mellifera. This is the distribution map of the Apis mellifera, which is commonly known as the Italian bee. And Apis serrana is known as the Asian bee. This is the distribution range within Asia and in the European region. Now coming towards the first species that's known as the Apis dorsata or rock honeybee, or it's also known as dammer bee or giant honeybee. They are wild bees. We cannot hive them. They are largest in size. They construct single comb within the long trees. The brood cell depth is 16 mm. Cell diameter is 5.35 to 5.64 mm. They have high production of honey, but they are very ferocious. You cannot rear them at home. They are very ferocious. They bite, and their bite is very strong. They have strong absconding tendency. That means they move from one place to another place in search of the nectar and pollen, and their honey is usually unripe. It's not ripe honey. That means there is huge moisture content in the honey of the Apis dorsata. Here, this is the Apis dorsata. It is the largest honeybee. Second one is the Apis florea, smallest honeybee or little honeybee. They are again wild bees. We are not able to rear them. We cannot hide them. They are smallest in size. They construct single comb. Brood cell diameter is 2.7 to 3.1 mm. They have very low production of honey, about 1 kg honey or half a kg honey. They are ferocious in nature, but their sting is not so painful because it's small in size. The sting apparatus and the poison is produced in small quantity. Again, they have strong absconding tendency. They move from one place to second place in search of the nectar and pollen, and their honey is unripe. That means the honey has high moisture content, so it's not good for, we cannot use it in such conditions. Then third one is the Apis cerana, which is known as the Asiatic honeybee or Indian honeybee. This honeybee, we hive it at home. That is, we domesticate it. They construct multiple honeycombs. They are smaller than Apis dorsata, but larger than Apis florea. They produce medium-sized honey. One colony produces about 10 to 12 kg of honey per season. They are stable in hilly regions, and the honey produced is ripe. They produce sealed honey. The honey is sealed, and it's less with the moisture, so it's good for health, and it's much delicious compared to the other honeybee of other species, bee species. This is the traditional beekeeping in different hills. For example, Himachal, Uttarakhand, J&K, or in the north eastern or the southern regions of the country. You will see that the Asian honeybees, they are being domesticated in wooden, in mud blocks or in the wooden blocks. These are the different castes of the honeybees: queen, worker, and drones. If you will see their cells are totally different. Coming towards the queen cell, the queen cell is, they are generally 2 or 3 cells within the hive of form. They are finger-shaped cells, much larger than the other cells, worker cell and the drone cell. If you will come towards the worker cells, they are hexagonal in shape. Here are the worker cells, hexagonal in shape. And drone cells, the drone cells are circular shape. They are bullet-shaped cells in the honeycomb. These are the different cells, cell shape of queen, worker, and drones. See, this is the queen, one of the largest individual in the colony, biggest individual in the colony. Queen is a mature female. She lays about 2,000 eggs per day. She has the longest life, up to 5 years. She can survive up to 5 years in the colony. She is larger than other individuals, and she has sting, but usually she does not use it for defense, but it's used when there emerges second queen in the colony. There are 2 chances. If second queen emerges in the colony, there are 2 chances. Either the new queen is being killed by the old queen with the help of a sting, or the old queen, she will migrate out, she will come out from the hive, and she will move into the next, we can say hive, or into next, she can start her own life independently with the help of some worker forces. These are the queen bees surrounded by the worker forces. Now coming towards the worker. Workers are sexually underdeveloped females. They are females actually, these workers. Each colony contains about 40 to 60,000 individuals. 40 to 60,000 individuals in a colony, and their job is they provide, we can say, they go for foraging, they bring food, they bring nectar, they maintain the hive, they do cleaning of the hive, and they do defense of the beehive. If sometimes queen dies in a colony, then workers they start laying the eggs, but the eggs they are only transformed into the drones only. Now coming to the drone bees, the drones are males in the colony. Their only job is to fertilize the queen during nuptial flight. The drone is larger, the head is large, and eyes are predominant. The rear end of the abdomen, the tip of the abdomen, it's rounded in shape. Now there is, you know that there's a division of labor among the worker bees based on the age of the bees and based on the need of the colony. There are different labor division among the colonies. For example, nurse bees. Nurse bees, they are 1 to 12 days older bees. They do self-grooming, they do cell-cleaning, and they do feeding of the brood. They do feeding of the brood. So this is their nurse bees, 1 to 12 days older bees. These are the house bees. They are 10 to 20 days old bees. Their job is comb foundation. They build comb. They do house cleaning. They accept nectar and pollen from the foragers. They do hide guarding, and they control climate within the colony. For example, during winter, they make clumps so that the temperature increases within the colony. And during summers, they do wing beating so that the hive is clean with the help of the air they produce with their wings. Now, field bees. The field bees are generally 20 days older. They collect nectar from plants, pollen, water, and plant residues. Now, you know that honeybees have a very important role in our life or in the ecosystem, because they definitely produce one of the delicious food on earth that's known as the honey. But in addition to that, they also produce propolis, they also produce pollen, they also produce bee wax, and they also produce this bee venom. Honeybees have been found, they have very big role in the economy of the countries or economy of the world, because they do pollination. The value of pollination for world has been reported at about 153 billion US dollar industry. That means bee pollination is a 153 billion dollar industry over the globe, and representing 99.5% of the value of the world agriculture production used for human food in 2016. So you see the food that we eat, how it's produced. It's produced with the pollination by these bees, because 70 to 80% plants are being pollinated by honeybees over the globe. Now you see the pollination contribution per unit crop area. Per unit crop area, you see in figure from the India region is totally dependent on bee pollination. About 100 and 250 US dollar per hectare is their role. That means we are totally dependent on bee pollination in our country. Now, scientists have observed, researchers have found that if we do pollination of certain crops with the help of the bees, there is a huge increase in their production. For example, corn crops, 100 to 300% have been observed. 100 to 300 increase in production have been observed. Radish, turnip, pickle bits, and onions, a huge production have been found with the help of the bee pollination. Now, how much colonies we require for bee pollination for different crops? For example, for almond and apple, we require 5 to 8. For almond, we require 5 to 8 bee colonies per hectare. For apple, we require 2 to 3. For citrus, coconut, grape, guava, and mango, again, we require 2 to 3 colonies per hectare for optimum pollination, for good production of these crops. What we do at our university, we have The one apiary within the camps, it's being sponsored by the NMHS, National Mission on Himalayan Studies, MOEF, and we do the extension programs. We train the local people, the tribal people, both men and women. We give them training. We show them how to handle the honeybee. In addition to this, we also train our students, particularly our MSc students. Generally, 15-day, it's a 10 or 15-day training program where they learn how to handle these beekeeping boxes. We have provided these honeybee colonies to the local people for honey production and for pollination purposes. We also do outreach programs in the district to inform people about the use of honeybees in pollination ecology and for production of different fruit crops. We also organize different seminars, national or workshops, where we bring different experts of the field to give us information about the recent trends happening in the field of apiculture. So if you want to study this type of venture, for example, if you want to have the honeybee colonies at your home, there are two scenarios. You can have two scenarios. One is the stationary beekeeping, and second is the migratory beekeeping. In stationary beekeeping, we do not migrate honeybee colonies from one place to another place. They are being kept at a single place. And it has been observed that there is a profit of about 75,000 per year for 50 colonies of Apis mellifera in stationary beekeeping. While in the migratory beekeeping, the estimated profit has been observed about 4,72,000 species per year for about 100 honeybee colonies of Apis mellifera. If you see the cost benefit analysis, if you start this type of venture, that you must have the information how much money you have to invest into the field. For example, under the non-recurring field, you have to invest about 2,45,000. Under the recurring field, you have to invest 46,000 rupees, and the total annual expenses, the benefit you will get is about the profit per colony is about 1,400, and for about 50 colonies, 74,000 rupees. For migratory beekeeping, under non-hecking rate, we require 5 lakh rupees. Under reckoning head, we like about 2 lakh rupees. The net profit is about 4,72,000 for per year for 100 colonies. This is only for example, for sale of honey, for sale of bee wax. But if you will use these colonies for pollination purposes, then there you will see a huge amount you will get a good amount of money by providing honeybee colonies on rental basis for different fruit crops or for different agriculture crops. Now, because today is the COVID-19, everybody is this time at home. Can we fight with the COVID-19 with the help of the honeybees? Or do honeybees help us to fight against COVID-19? Yes, some studies have found that the bee venom and the bee propolis, they contain antiviral, they contain these antiviral properties that control the infection of these viral particles, particularly COVID-19. Recently, Young et al. In 2020, they have observed 5,000 beekeepers in Wuhan region and in Hubei region of the China, and they found that none of the beekeepers had developed the COVID-19 symptoms. None of the beekeepers out of 5,000. Then they interviewed 5 epitherapists. Epitherapists are the people, they use honeybees for different treatment purposes, for different treatment of the disease. They interviewed 5 epitherapists in the Wuhan region. And they also interviewed 121 patients of the epitherapy clinic. None of the patient or none of the epitherapists were found to have, was found to be infected by the COVID-19. Then what they do, they infected these 5 epitherapists with the COVID-19. They found that none of the epitherapists, they actually were exposed or they actually got the we can say, infection from these viral particles. This is because the bee sting, it causes allergic reaction, and if a number of bees sting a particular person, it will lead to the death due to excessive stress on the immune response. It will cause excitement, over-excitement of the immune response. So we say that bee venom, if we use bee venom in the regular intervals, it can build our immune system. It can enhance our immune system by producing more T cells, which will help in defense against SARS-CoV virus, severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus second virus, or which is known as the COVID-19 virus. It has earlier been found by the Chen et al. In 2021 that the bee venom, they have the antiviral properties. Similarly, the propolis that the bee use, it has also been found as PAK first blockers. They block the PAK1 proteins, and the propolis, it contains artipylene and nymphophilus, these we can say compounds that inhibit PAK proteins. The PAK proteins, they when the PAK proteins are blocked, they activate the immune system. They produce more B cells and T cells, which result in the high production of antibodies, and they fight against the virus. This work has been done by the Morita and Howe in 2021. So the propolis has also antiviral properties. The bee venom has also antiviral properties. Now, coming towards the third part of our presentation, the last part of our presentation, the virtual tour of BGSB apiary. We have, as I told you earlier, that we have one beekeeping apiary within the campus. The apiary is being sponsored by the National Mission on Himalayan Studies, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. They sanctioned this project in 2018. We have this time 40 to 50 honeybee colonies. Earlier we purchased 28 colonies, then multiplied and made divisions up to 100 and 150 colonies. Then we provide these colonies to different people in the region. Here you will see this is the one beekeeping box having different frames inside it. The frames, they contain the bees. This is the general structure of the beehive. For example, stand, it has the brood, chamber, it has the super. This is the super here. If you want to gather more and more honey, if you want to collect more and more honey, then we put the honey excluder between this brood and the super, so that the queen, it does not move towards the super. Only workers move towards the super, and they deposit more and more honey in the hive. These are different beekeeping equipments that we use. For example, we use bee brush, we use bee smoke, we use bee veil, and honey extraction drums. This is here the honey extraction drum, having 4 partitions, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We put the bee frames inside the drum. The drum, it extracts out the honey from the frames with the help of the centrifugal force. Here I can show you the video of the drum. With this centrifugal force, the honey is being thrown out from the frame into the drum. This is the honey processing unit. Here you will see the honey obtained from the drum is put into this tank, which is known as the melting tank, having temperature about 90 to 100 degrees Celsius. Then the melted honey, it moves into this tank, which is known as the moisture reduction tank. It moves out the moisture from the honey. Then the honey moves into another tank, which is known as the microfiltration tank. The tank is behind this big, large tank. It's not visible here. It's known as the microfiltration tank. From microfiltration tank, the honey comes out into this tank, which is known as the store tank. From this store tank, we put honey into the bottles. Here you can see the video of the This is the interior of the apiary. This is the queen bee here, surrounded by the worker force, and I have video of bees here. She's the queen. See, she's laying eggs inside these cells, egg laying by queen. This is our honey product in the university, which is known as the BGSB forest honey that we harvest from our apiary. So how can we contribute now? Because it's not possible for everyone to be an apiarist, to have the independent honeybee colonies. We can grow more flowers so that a huge number of pollinators are being attracted. We can have organic food, we can have organic agriculture, organic horticulture. More organic food is produced, that means less pesticides are being used. If we use judicious pesticide in a judicious way, we can minimize the killing of different bee species, and we can usually do spray in the early morning or in the late evening. Now, from the presentation, we learned that there's a huge diversity of bees. Not only honeybees are there in the nature, there are other bee species, 20,000 bee species. That these bees, both honeybees and the native bees, they are potential pollinators. About 90% of the food crops, agricultural crops, are dependent on their pollination. They have wide adaptations. Some are being indigenous. We can easily and cheaply manage the habitat of these wild bees. We can use honeybees for epitherapy, for treating different disease, viral disease, bacterial disease, or even for arthritis. We have found different beekeeping equipments, and we have found how bees play an important role in the economic building of the countries or the world. Coming 20th May 2021 is the World Honeybee Day. Let's put a message on the social media about the importance of bees in our ecosystem services, how they provide essential ecosystem services in the form of pollination, and they also provide different food material. And thank you very much for listening this presentation patiently. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sajid. We have some queries in the chat box. I was just seeing it. We have some queries. If anyone is having any query, they can write in the chat box or they can ask. Sir, there is one query that what about the cost of bee propolis from Dr. Ansar Ali Ayub?
Sir, bee propolis is having a good, it's being sold in a good amount because it has, as I told you, that it has antiviral and anti-cancerous properties. 1 gram of bee propolis, it is being sold at about 2,000 rupees, 1,000 to 2,000 rupees per gram.
Another question is, sir, is it good for diabetic people to take honey?
Sir, if the honey is original, there is no contamination, that it's good because it contains fructose. The highest carbohydrate is fructose in the in the honey. So we can use it.
Any other query if you have? So what
Yes,
about
we can mix honey with hot water. I also use honey, hot water, and a lemon. Every morning I drink 1 glass of one glass of water with honey. So it's very beneficial for your health. It also reduces your weight.
Sir, how can we check the purity of honey?
Uh, if you have to check the purity of honey by a scientific method, then there is a spectroscopic method of determining the quality of the honey. For example, you will note down different plant metabolites in the honey. This is one of the methods. Second is, if you want to check it by the traditional way, then you can take out the honey from the spoon. You can make a long string. If the string does not fall, if it forms a continuous string, then it's pure. If it drops in regular intervals, then it's impure honey.
Dr. Saab, thanks
Yes,
for
sir.
your nice presentation.
Thank you, Ansar sir.
Thank you for your nice presentation. I have one question. Whether the honeys from apple orchard in Kashmir is organic? Because
No, not at all, not at all. Because we spray about 50. We do 15 sprays of different pesticides in the apple orchards. So I can say it's not organic.
But honey from your walnut or other crops, it is organic?
Yeah, because we don't spray any pesticide on the walnut, juglans, so I can say it is pure honey.
Sir, now this Quast K got the funds for ₹4 crore for the honey testing labs.
Yeah, I heard that news recently.
You are any collaboration with Quast K, your BG, Baba Gulam Shah?
No, sir, we don't have any collaboration, but I have also put a proposal to National Bee Board. I hope in next meeting they will provide some kind of assistance for beekeeping in the district Rajouri.
No, sir. Why can you have one lab in Rajouri for testing honey in like that?
Yeah, sir, I have recently put a proposal to National Bee Board for establishment of this honey testing lab within the camps. I hope they will provide it in second meeting.
No, sir. I'm telling you can collaborate with Quast to get the lab.
Yeah. I can collaborate. I can collaborate with them.
Thank you, Dr. Sajjad Saab, your nice presentation. You take it to basic level. No problem.
Any other queries if anybody is having?
So why does honey never expire?
Dr. Sajjad.
Sir.
Yes, Dr. Sajjad. It was a very nice presentation, self-explanatory. I have learned a lot from this presentation, though this is not my specific subject. But one thing is important also. You have elaborated in a very nice way in details. But are there any other consequences what we are facing at the present situation? Because pollination, flowers, biodiversity, everything is important.
Yes, sir, exactly.
But the question is, what are the different drawbacks which we are finding? Most probably pollination is everywhere, progress is going on, facilities are available, Government of India is behind it. Even I got the project from so I have a space, you have worked in our division.
Yes, sir.
There is an excellent center run by Professor Parisab and the team. But simultaneously, when we see the structure, the yield of the fruits is going to be diminished. Can we realize what are the drawbacks in our pollination system?
Sir, one of the biggest drawback I have observed, because I was associated with the pollination project for 4 years.
Yes.
I have observed that we not only need honeybees or any wild bees for pollination, but we also need pollinizers. Until you have pollinizers in the apple orchards, then only there is possible way of pollen transfer from male to the female. And what I have observed that there is a monoculture of delicious varieties in the apple orchards. So we can say the fruit quantity is produced, it's produced in the less amount, and the fruit quality is not so good because of the absence of these pollinizer varieties in your apple orchards.
Very nice answer, very nice reply. And second thing, you were telling that we need the different cultivars of the fruits season-wise.
Yes, sir.
Seasonal, there is a seasonal variation of the different cultivars that our pollinators should exist throughout the year. But I think even I don't have this. I'm not from this subject, but still as an orchardist, apple orchardist, I have. This is my experience from the orchard. I've seen the structure of the flower is also very important. When I have seen the visiting of the bees, they don't prefer those flowers which are cup-shaped or conical because they don't have access to reach the nectar. Because that's conical to some extent, that is closed, but those flowers which are very much flat, bees get very easy access to catch the nectar. Is it important?
Sir, as I told you in my first slide, that a bee that's known as the Melittina bee, there's a co-evolution between the Melittina bee and the plant varieties. The plant varieties, some plants, they are being only pollinated by the Melittina bee, keeping in view the size of the bee. Because it is small in size, it can easily move inside the flowers.
Yes.
If the flower has much disturbance, if it has spines or we can say the
barrier,
there are barriers present in the flowers, then the bees prefer to go other plant varieties than to move into that particular species.
Okay, nice. God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Any other queries if anybody want to ask? I also request everyone to kindly switch on their camera so that we can have a screenshot of all the participants. If you can all switch on the camera, please. Any other questions if you have, you can ask now. I'll be sharing the feedback link in just a minute. Any queries? So there was one query regarding the honey, that why it doesn't expires.
Sir, I think it's because of the viscosity. The honey has the good viscosity. There is least amount of water present inside the honey. That's why it does not, we can say, expire. It remains for hundreds of years there. I can say 10 years, 12 years, 13 years, 15 years, because of the least amount of water present inside it.
I think we are over with the queries. Now, I request Dr. Deepak Udhavan to propose a formal vote of thanks to Dr. Sajid Hossain Parekh. Thank you, sir, for this wonderful lecture. It was a nice presentation.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we were really honored. We are really honored to have you here in this college, which is one of the largest college of Northern India. Also one of the oldest college, boys college, established in 1980. Sir, your lecture was really wonderful. Numerous things you had brought to fore, not only one aspect, n number of aspects, whether it was regarding the taxonomic positioning of the species, various species under this particular group of organisms belonging to hymenopterans. Further, it was very interesting to know that bumblebee is present throughout the year. Very interesting to know that there is overlap of the presence of the bees. If you find that one bee is showing lesser number in a particular month, then you have origin of second species which was prevalent in that particular month. So it was so very fulfilling experience. I really thank you. Now for the formal vote of thanks, I would like to begin this discourse regarding thank of people around from the principal, who has been always there, always helping us, giving us permissions, and invite such people to this area where they can share their views. I'm really thankful to the head of the department for conducting this particular seminar so beautifully. Special thanks are due to the members of the faculty who have come, have joined us, and in n number of ways have helped in organizing this particular seminar by making sure that the student availability is there. Again, I thank the lab staff for making sure that the seminar is organized in the best of the manners. Last but not the least, Special thanks to all those people who have joined from far-flung places in India. And we have a good attendance of more than 100 people from different parts of India. I thank you all for joining and sharing your views. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Deepak. The feedback form for this webinar is being shared. You can fill the form and you will get the certificate within 1 or 2 minutes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.